Now that Season 2 of Heartstopper is officially in production, fans have high hopes with the changes that might happen in the new season. One of them being a darker theme. The new season of Heartstopper is more likely to follow much darker topics than in Season 1. There have been talks about Charlie's mental health struggles since the first season aired, but the actor has also addressed these rumours now. Joe Locke, playing Charlie on the show, said that his character will struggle with mental health and an eating disorder in the new season. And if we look closely, the first season also gives us a lot of hints on Charlie's disorder. Him eating in smaller portions and constantly staring at soggy cereal are just a few symptoms of him struggling. Apart from that, we saw quite a cheerful Charlie in the first season, but he also went through a lot because of who he was. So the second season would show the after effects of all the trouble he's been through. Alice Oseman, who's the writer of both the book and the show, also talked about the matter and said, "I definitely want to be bringing in the themes of mental health because that's something really important in the books. The challenge of writing Heartstopper is exploring those darker issues while keeping the tone so optimistic and hopeful." So even though the show would switch to a darker theme in the second season, we would still get to see a lot of sweet and romantic scenes between Nick and Charlie. A romantic getaway. In the first season, we never really got to see Nick and Charlie being in public and having the best time of their lives. But that might be about to change in the second season because the teens are going to Paris. Everyone from school is going on a trip to Paris, and it will be the official getaway for Nick and Charlie. We'll finally get to see them as a couple in public and how they navigate outside of their comfort zones. During the shoot of the show, a few pictures were leaked and we could see Nick and Charlie just hanging out in Paris. The duo is wearing shorts and t-shirts and is enjoying a romantic summer break. Not only this, but Joe Locke recently posted pictures of him and the cast enjoying Disneyland Paris. He captioned the post with, "I get why they call it the happiest place on earth now." So it seems like they're having a great time while shooting for the show. New cast members. As everyone expected, there are going to be a lot of new characters on the show that are actually going to change the plot. The new cast is going to be really important for the progress of the new season, while the main cast will remain just the same. The new additions on the show include Jack Barton, playing David's brother. Jack has previously worked on The Letter for the King and Tsunami, and he's even seen in the promotional pictures with the cast of Heartstopper. Bradley Riches is playing the role of James McEwen. Even though he also was seen in Season 1, he had a very small role, but now he'll be coming back as a Truman student with a major role. Additionally, Nima Taligani will be playing Truman teacher Mr. Farouk, and Layla Khan as Sahir Zahid. All the new characters would have really important roles to play, and the creators have worked really hard on casting them. The interesting thing about one of the cast members is that it's their first project. Creators did a nationwide call of open casting as they wanted someone who had no TV exposure before. Their only demand was that the actor should be plus-sized, so they ended up casting Layla Khan, who will be the new student at Higgs School and might develop a bond with our girl gang. Nick's brother. We never really got to see Nick's brother in the first season, but that's about to change because the creators have casted Jack Barton as his brother. So we'll actually get to see a whole different side of Nick, where he might even be extremely sensitive. He has always been the charming guy who hardly had any troubles in fitting in or making friends. However, Nick has some pretty serious issues with his brother, and we would see him struggling to develop a sibling bond on the show. Not only this, but the creators might even add a few scenes that show the conflict between Nick and his brother. Well, we've seen in the last season that Nick's mother has been very supportive after he came out to her, but that's really not the case with his brother. He's rumoured to be really rude, and he might not be completely on board with Nick's relationship with Charlie. So the audience is very likely to see Nick struggling to keep Charlie away from his brother, and the lack of support from his brother might even affect his mental health too. We haven't really seen Nick managing conflict, so it'll be interesting to watch. So when the writer said that this season is going to be really dark, we gotta say, she wasn't wrong at all. Trouble in Paradise. As in the new season, Charlie would be struggling with his mental health. It's quite obvious that his relationship with Nick will be affected by this too. Charlie would supposedly avoid talking about it at first, but it will result in a lot of fights between the two. And these fights are most likely to happen in Paris on their romantic summer break. Before this, they only had a few arguments about how they needed to proceed with their relationship, but this time they would have proper clashes like couples. The fans are quite excited to see how the couple figure their way back to each other after each argument. As they've just started out officially dating, it's only fair to assume that things would be difficult for both of them. And if we add the element of their mental health, it becomes apparent that the duo will be having a really hard time, and they would have to work a lot harder on their relationship and their bond. Focus on the supporting cast. In the first season, the focus of storytelling was mainly on Nick and Charlie, and the rest of the cast was kind of in the background. Even though each one of them had their own stories, they weren't the focus of the plot. In the second season, the stories of the supporting cast will progress, and Nick and Charlie won't be the only two people driving the story forward. As season 1 of the show provided a foundation for a lot of stories, we'll get to see them progress in the second season. The characters are going to get more exposure and have a proper character arc that was somehow missing in the first season. We might even be able to see the background story of some of the people, and it would actually be epic. Characters like Elle and Mr. Ajayi really deserve a dedicated story, and we're most likely to see it in the next season. By the looks of it, the second season is going to be focusing on everyone in the main cast, and that's what excites the fans. French fluency. As we saw in the video released by Netflix, Nick will be speaking French in the second season. He'll even be very fluent in it, and Nick will be annoying Charlie with his fluency in French, while Charlie would be having a hard time understanding him. So even though it's a very small thing, these moments of joy and mischief are what matter the most in a show like Heartstopper. Nick was already quite fluent in French, but we didn't get to see him speaking the language in season 1. Well, that's going to change in season 2, and it might even be an important plot line as it was specifically highlighted in the teaser. Tao and Elle's relationship. Tao and Elle have been friends since season 1, and it was pretty obvious from the beginning that he has a crush on Elle too. But Tao was surprisingly unaware of his own feelings, and we went through the whole will they, won't they phase of their relationship in the first season. And now their relationship dynamic is about to change in season 2, as the duo will officially start dating and accept their feelings for each other. There is a lot more to their relationship than the two like to admit, and the creators will get into the details pretty soon. Tao and Elle's love affair would also be a very important plotline in the second season, and we would get to see another solid couple after Nick and Charlie. Their relationship is so sought after, mainly because the two have been friends for so long. And now the fans can't wait to finally see them together and get the love that they actually deserve. They might have some difficulty in accepting their feelings for each other, especially Elle, but their chemistry is going to eventually bring them closer. Teacher's romance. Mr. Ajayi has been a great support for Charlie throughout the first season, but it's high time that he also gets a share of the romance himself. Well, things might be getting a little brighter with him after he finds his new love interest. He didn't get a lot of screen time or even a background story in the first season, but we'll be diving into his character in Heartstopper 2, and the fans can't wait to see his other side. It might be a little difficult for him to manage a relationship with everything that's been going on. He would start his love story with a new cast member, and the two would also enjoy their time in Paris while being smitten over each other. So we would get to see Mr. Ajayi as a man in love, and not just a teacher who's always there for his students. This would also mark a change in his character and how he behaves, so it seems like everything isn't going to be the same in the school anymore. What are your thoughts about these new changes in Heartstopper Season 2? Are you as excited as we are about the new season? Tell us in the comment section below, don't forget to subscribe, and thank you for watching. Bye guys!